Good day, everyone. I'm excited to be here. I'm Akinwumi Victoria, and I want to welcome everybody to the seminar today with the topic healthy eating in children. To start with, children are three things. One, children are what they eat. Two, children are what they see. And three, children are what they hear. All of the formative process and development of your children hinge on these three critical factors. So you don't want to downplay any of them because what you sow is what you reap. Having said that, what is healthy eating? Healthy eating means following a balanced diet pattern that include a varieties of nutritious food and drinks. It also means getting the number of calories that your body needs per time, and you are not eating too much of it or less of it. Having defined healthy eating, what is unhealthy eating? Food are considered to be unhealthy when they have excess sugar, excess salt, excess oil, as well as artificial and chemical ingredients. I want to lay emphasis on those four things I just mentioned. Excess sugar, excess salt, excess oil, excess maggi, and other chemical ingredients. What are the chemical ingredients? For example, àwọn spicy tea, every other thing tá a fi ń ṣe àwọn oúnjẹ tá à ń jẹ, be it spicy tea, maggi, yonga, and all those ingredients to spice up our food. A study conducted by Global Burden of Diseases from year 1990 to 2017, which involved 195 countries, shows that 11 million people died from diseases that are related to poor diet. So as parents, we have to be careful of what we give our children to eat, because many of the diseases that children come down with, they are not pathogenic, which means that they are not caused by pathogens, but they are caused by food related diseases. Either it is food poisoning or food deficiency. Now, however, there is a place of personalized nutrition. That means there is no one size fits all formula for healthy eating in our children. What works for family A may not work for family B. That is why we have personalized nutrition. What is personalized nutrition? It means creating a healthy eating plan with dietary recommendations that is designed specifically for your child's body and his lifestyle. A parent may want his child to lose weight because of obesity, maybe the child is too big, while another parent may want the child to gain more weight. So the kind of food you will be given to your children will be different from the one other parent that want the child to add weight will be given. Maybe a child needs calcium in his food for bone and teeth strengthening. The kind of food the parents will be given to that child will be quite different from the food a parent will be given to a child that already have enough calcium in his body system. So that is why I said there is a place of personalized nutrition, that you don't have to compare your child with any other child. Nǹkan tí ọmọ neighbor mi máa ń jẹ lójoojúmọ́ ni ara ọmọ ẹ̀dá ń dán, let me also be giving it to my own child. It doesn't work like that. You have to study your child to know the kind of food that fits. Having said that, I want all parents to take note of this. There is something we call food intolerance and food allergies. Now, what is food intolerance? This is when a child has difficulties in digesting certain food or ingredients in a certain food. In a family of 4, òbí mi lè notice pé tọmọ yìí bóyá táwọn bá ti ṣe ẹ̀wà, tó bá ti jẹ ẹ̀wà àbí tó bá ti jẹ ẹja, inú máa ń rún. àbò máa ń yàgbẹ́, ẹ wá máa complain pé àwọn ẹ̀gbọ́n ẹ àtèmi àti bàbá ẹ oúnjẹ tí gbogbo wa jẹ tí everybody wà okay, tí o bá ṣáà ti jẹ oúnjẹ yìí báyìí ó ṣáà ní complain kan or the other ni. I want you to take note. It might be food intolerance lọmọ yẹn ní, or kó jẹ́ food allergy. And I want you to emphasize on the two. The food allergy is more serious than the food intolerance. What is food allergy? Food allergy is when a child immune system responds to a certain food, which cause the immune system to detect the food as foreign agents that cause harm to the body. What am I trying to drive at? That food allergy, anytime a child takes that thing, the child can come down as if the child is sick, because ara ẹ̀ máa rí oúnjẹ yẹn as a stranger, and the body will want to fight it so that the child can be okay. What are the symptoms of food allergies? Tọ́mọ bá jẹun tán tó yẹ pé kò lè mí dáadáa, tó ní difficulty in breathing, that means pé food allergy lọ́mọ yẹn ní, kò ń ṣe food intolerance. Tọ́mọ bá jẹun tán tí ó fẹ́ máa bì, tó fún un rìn, that means pé food allergy lọ́mọ yẹn ní, kò ń ṣe food intolerance. Tí èèyàn bá jẹun tán tí ara ń yún, tẹ́nu ń yún, tí àwọn part of the body kọ̀ọ̀kan ń yún, tó ń yàgbẹ́, tàbí tí kò lè experience indigestion, it is also caused by food allergy. We have some people tó yẹ pé they are lactose intolerance, tí wọ́n lè mú milk. Tó bá mú milk, problem ti dé nìyẹn, they will fall sick. And normally everybody believes that milk is good for the body, but we have some children that are lactose intolerant. Anytime they take milk like this, it will become problem. So you have to study your child to know what works for the child. I also learned about somebody that whenever the person eats eba like this, the mouth, the lips, the two lips will swell up as if something else has happened. So the fact that a food is good doesn't mean that it's good for your children. So we'll continue with the benefit of good food. Now, what are the benefits of eating good food or giving good food to your children? Now, raising a healthy child even starts from pregnancy, because àwọn Yorùbá ní nǹkan tẹ́yẹ bá jẹ lẹ́yẹ máa gbé fò. As a mother, whatever you eat during the pregnancy, that is what your child will also eat from. So if you are pregnant here, you have to take good care of yourself, eat good food, so as to make sure that the child is also getting the nutrients that is needed. Now back to the benefit of good food. Number one is better digestion. When a child eats good food, the body system will digest the food at normal time that the body is supposed to digest the food. Another thing is better memory and mental capacity. A research has shown that brain consumes 25% of glucose on the body. So when a child does not have enough glucose on the body, the child will not be able to perform well mentally. It will affect the memory and the mental capacity of the child. So whenever a child eats good food, the child will have good memory, then mentally he or she will be uncomparable. Now another one is strong bone and teeth. Good food make the bones and the teeth of the child to be very strong. You will see some child, tán bá kàn tí wọ́n ṣubú báyìí, yẹ́kẹ́, apá ti kán, ẹsẹ̀ ti kán, because the bones are not strong. Though they are looking healthy, but the bones are not strong. So give your child good food when going to school, so that the child will be able to perform optimally at the school. Another benefit of good food is good mood and improved psychological function. When a child eats good food, the child will be happy. The child can be dancing, can be playing around. The child will be happy. We have good mood and good vibes every time. Then another one is the reduction in the risk of chronic diseases. Good food helps the body to fight against diseases. We move to healthy eating habits in children. Number 1, praying over food. Teach your child to always pray over his food before eating it. 2, prioritizing breakfast. As parents, make sure that your child didn't skip his breakfast no matter what, and make sure it is rich enough and is enough to carry them till the time they will return from their different schools. Number 3 is eating slowly and chewing properly. Children have the tendency of rushing their food, either because they want to get another one or because the child wants to eat. Make sure that your child eats slowly and tell them to always chew it properly before swallowing it. I've seen elderly people swallowing food without chewing it, and it's not a good eating habit. Another thing is close their mouth while eating and avoid snooping. When your child is eating, tell him to always close his mouth and avoid snooping. Correct them. It's not a good eating habit. Then eating fruit and veggies. In your child's diet, make sure he's eating fruits and veggies in their food. Then another point is cutting down on junks. Make sure their junks is not more than the food they are taking. Then avoid overfeeding or giving a large amount of food at a time. Some parents, tí wọ́n bá máa gbé oúnjẹ fọ́mọ báyìí bó ṣe àmàlà bó ṣe rice, you will think àgbàlagbà ló fẹ́ jẹ ní oúnjẹ tó máa bù fún ọmọ. You give them a portion of food at a time. If they want more, later around 30 minutes or 1 hour after, you can give it to them again. Then I'm not full, like my stomach is not full yet. Tell them wait, I will still give you. Not that you will not give them a large amount of food at a time. It will make their stomach to become very big, and it's not good for their health. Another point is not taking food from strangers and picking food from floors. Warn them not to collect food from the strangers. And while they are eating, if the food fall off, maybe it fall on the floor, tell them not to pick it again. Some children, if they are eating biscuit or they are eating their food, they will firstly pick the one on the floor. They will make sure that there's nothing on the floor again before they return back to the food that's in their plate. It's not a good eating habit, and we have to correct them. And we have some children that doesn't eat. Ọmọ tèmi tí ò wà kí n jẹ ńkọ́, bọ́mọ tó bá tẹ̀ ń jẹun ó tẹ̀ dá, tọ̀dọ̀ mi tí ò tẹ̀ kí n jẹ ńkọ́. Number 1, if your child is not eating, medically you can consult your doctor to talk about it. And there are some reasons. Say àwọn ọmọ mi ò kì í fi kí n jẹun. Number 1 is boredom. Your child can be bored of your food. If you are preparing one type of meal every time, you are cooking rice from Monday to Friday, rice and stew, rice and stew, rice and stew. It will get to a stage like this. Bó ṣe gbé lọ náà ló ṣe máa gbé bọ̀ because he's tired of the food. So learn how to prepare varieties of food for your child. Another thing you can do if your child is not eating well or is under eating is to reduce their junks. There's no child that doesn't like junks. But if you have given them junks enough that has filled their stomach and you not give them food, they will not be able to eat it because they are already full. So if your child is not eating well, cut down on the junks that you are giving them. So if he is hungry, if you have no choice than to fall back on the food that you've prepared. Another thing that affects children from not eating is psychological well-being. If a child is not happy, he may not be able to eat. And that is why we parents, we must try and make sure that our home is favorable enough, is conditioned to make the children happy every time. Not that the father and the mother, they are fighting every time and the children are seeing it. Make sure that the home is comfortable enough for them. If a child is happy, there's no way the child will not eat. Another thing is palatability. Tí oúnjẹ ò bá dùn, ọmọ lè má jẹ tó bá taste tí ò ní taste lẹ́nu ẹ̀. torí bí igi, the child will not eat it. And another thing that can make a child not to eat is sickness. If a child is sick, there's no way the child will eat well. That's why I said earlier that after considering all these factors and you see that your child doesn't fall into any of them, you can consult your doctor to find out the underlying cause of why the child is not eating. Now we move to the food that you must limit in your child's diet. If you want to raise a healthy child, what are the foods that must be limited in their food? Number one is deep fried food. Deep fried food. For example, grilled food, àwọn àsun àti súyà, àwọn ẹran tó máa ta tinú tí a ti gbẹ dáadáa tó ń pè ní àsun tàbí súyà, reduce it in their food. Sugary cereals, e.g. golden morn and refill milk. Children dey have their milk. Even àwọn pig wọ́n ní ti ọmọ 6 years wọ́n ní special one fáwọn ọmọ from age 0 to 3 and then we have one from 4 to 6. We can get them their milk. We have some people that give golden milk to their children as early as 6 months. It's not good for their health. If you want to raise a healthy child, golden milk is not meant for children that are under 3 years old. Ọmọ mi after exclusive feeding báyìí ara ẹ ti bẹ̀rẹ̀ sí ní fún ní golden milk àti pig sachet tí wọ́n wá láwọn tọ́jú ọmọ. No, golden milk is not for babies. It's not for children that are under 3. And if you want to give them milk, children have their own milk according to their age, not that you go and buy pig sachet. Even they even wrote it at the back of those the golden milk and the pig milk that is not to be mixed with infant food. But some people will buy it and think that they are really taking care of their children. Another food that you should limit in your child's diet if you want to raise a healthy child is fast food, full sold at eateries. Cook your food. You don't know how they prepare that food. You don't know under what hygienic position they cook the food that you are buying for them. Make sure that you are cooking for them and make sure it is hygienic. Another thing is pizza. Then reduce their drinks, fruit juice, soda drinks, sugary drinks, reduce it. Cakes and pastries. Ọmọ mi tó bá rí cake ó lè jókòó sí cake òdìdí kan tó tí ó jẹ tán. Yàrá ni ó like cake ni. We have to reduce that. Potato chips, energy drink as I have said, sugar drink, noodles, biscuit and sweets. Noodles is not really good for children because of the seasoning. If you want to cook noodles for your children, you can spice it up in your own way, not using their own seasoning or finishing up the seasoning. You can use little from their seasoning because sometimes the thing is the seasoning is too much, and some people when they want to prepare it, they have to pour everything in the noodles, and it's not good for the child health. In the survey that we conducted on our WhatsApp group last week, 66% of children taste carbonated drinks every day, and it is very, very bad. It is not good for their health. Why only 33% take it seldomly? So 66% of children take it regularly, and it's not good for their health. Let's take note of that. And lastly, I said biscuit and sweet. Sweet and sugary things damage our gums and teeth for children. So you have to limit it. Some children can buy 200 naira sweet and they will finish it. 200 naira biscuit and finish it. And it can later cause diabetes, type 2 diabetes and it can also cause high blood pressure in children. So we have to make sure that what we are giving our children, we are really helping them to be healthy, not that we are affecting them negatively. Let's move to the next one. On a final note, we move to healthy cooking tips for parents. I want you to note this. A balanced diet is different from a healthy diet. A food can be a balanced diet but not healthy diet if it is not prepared hygienically. Then what are the cooking tips? Healthy cooking tips. Number one is personal hygiene and kitchen hygiene. Before you touch anything in the kitchen, make sure you wash your hand. And make sure you have your own kitchen slippers. Don't just wear your slippers that you are wearing outside to the kitchen. and make sure it is mopped and clean every time. Another thing is microwave, steam, grill your vegetable instead of boiling them to retain the nutrients, because water soluble nutrients are easily lost to heat. If you want to prepare your vegetables, you don't need to boil them. A kàn lè da omi gbígbóná lé lórí ká tó dà sínú ọbẹ̀. Not that we now boil it on the water inside hot water. Tá bá ń bọ̀ báyẹn, gbogbo àwọn nutrients tó wà nínú ẹ̀ tó jẹ́ water soluble wọ́n á ti bá omi yẹn jáde kó tó di pa bẹ̀rẹ̀ a da ẹ̀fọ́ yẹn sínú nǹkan tá à ń ṣe. Number 3, don't deep fry your egg, meat, fish and plantain. Tá bá fẹ́ dín ẹyin, ẹyin wa should be whitish in nature, not brownish. Tẹ́lómi bá dín ẹyin báyìí wọ́n máa dín gbẹ tí gbogbo ẹ̀ máa brown. No, when you are frying your egg, àwọn whitish particles gbọ́dọ̀ máa wà níbẹ̀ tó máa fresh, not that pé a máa dá dín tí gbogbo ẹ̀ máa wá brown. And our plantain, if you are frying your plantain, it should be light brown or golden brown. Kì í ṣe pé kó wá jóná or kó dúdú họhọhọ. tó bá ti pẹ́ jù nínú kí n tàbí tó ti jóná yẹn, some nutrients are already lost. Then another point, I have said it that there are some vegetables tó jẹ́ pé wọ́n máa ń le tí ò ń ṣe àwọn ẹ̀fọ́ ṣọkọ. Tó bá jẹ́ àwọn ẹ̀fọ́ ṣọkọ àti tẹ̀tẹ̀ a lè máa boil wọn, but tó bá jẹ́ àwọn vegetables tó máa ń le bí àwọn ìyànàpájà and the co tó jẹ́ pé we have to boil them, let's boil them with a little amount of water, and the heat should not be too much under it. Kì í ṣe pé ká wá dáná sí lábẹ́ kó wá hó. No, it should be little heat and then small amount of water. You should not overboil them. Tá bá ti overboil wọn, gbogbo àwọn nutrients inú rẹ̀ wọ́n á ti bá heat lọ tán, á kàn máa kó ẹ̀fọ́ lásán jẹ ni, kò ní ṣe nǹkan tá a fẹ́ kó ṣe. Then another point is rinse your veggies before peeling or cutting them. Tá bá fẹ́ ṣe, táwọn míì bá fẹ́ ṣe ẹ̀fọ́, wọ́n ti kọ́kọ́ cut ẹ̀ tán kán tó wá dà sínú omi, kán tó láwọn ṣe inú àwọn dà sínú ọṣẹ, kán tó dà sínú ọbẹ̀ wọn. No, before you cut your veggies, tá bá ti ra ẹ̀fọ́ dé, báyẹn ni ká ṣe dà sínú omi ká ti ṣàn wọ́n nù before we start cutting them. As I said earlier, tá bá ti kọ́kọ́ cut ẹ̀ ká tó máa ṣàn nù, àwọn water soluble nutrients tó wà nínú rẹ̀, they will go out with the water tá a fi ń ṣan omi yẹn nù, and it will not serve the purpose. Now, another point is taste your food before adding salt to it. Don't just assume, don't just be putting salt on your food. Tá bá ń dáná, ẹ jẹ́ ká taste ẹ̀. Tá bá ti fi àwọn ingredients míì sí, ẹ jẹ́ ká taste ẹ̀ ká tó fi iyọ̀ sí, because many of these cooking ingredients wọ́n máa ń níyọ̀ nínú fúnra wọn. So tá bá wá wò pé ká kàn fi iyọ̀ sí, ẹ máa rí pé sometimes iyọ̀ yẹn máa já, because àwọn nǹkan tá a lò náà iyọ̀ ti wà lára wọn. So if you taste it, you might not need to add salt, or you may need to add just a pinch of salt. Not that pé èmi ṣe máa ń ṣe nìyẹn o, tá bá aṣáàbùyọ̀ lù. No, food that are a food that is salty, that the salt content is too much, it contributes to a range of health problems which include high blood pressure and stomach cancer. Tíyọ̀ tó bá ń ṣe oúnjẹ tíyọ̀ ń pọ̀ jù nínú rẹ̀ every time, high BP àti stomach cancer là ń fi ń ṣeré yẹn. So we should limit the way we eat salt in our food. Number 7 tips: minimize animal fat in your food and in your child's diet. Make sure that you reduce the animal fat. For example, cheese and butter. Ọmọ mi tó bá jókòó ti butter and bread báyìí, ó lè kó gbogbo òkè butter kan, ó lè kó jẹ dé yàfùyà ní ọmọ mi like butter. No, too much of it is dangerous for their health. Then number 8, choose fresh vegetable instead of canned one. Àwọn vegetable bí àwọn tomato paste, canned tomato, buy fresh one instead of those canned one, because preservative ti wà nínú àwọn canned one yẹn kó má bàa bàjẹ́, and we don't know how long they have been manufactured. So they will have put preservative there, and àwọn preservatives yẹn, they are not good for the organs of the body. Then another tip is use herb and spices to replace seasoning. When you want to cook your food, you can put ginger, garlic and locust bean to replace putting plenty of seasoning. Ẹlòmíì bá fẹ́ ṣe ọbẹ̀, wọ́n lè lo maggi mẹ́rin, maggi márùn pé kó lè bá dùn dáadáa ni. If you use ginger and garlic and locust bean You may not need to use much seasoning again. We can just use half or one Maggi instead of putting 5 or 4 into it. Then another one is that you make a plan. It is not too good that when it is in the morning, that's when you'll be thinking of what to cook. I have my own cooking timetable at home. You too, you can make your cooking timetable. It will make it to be easier for you if you want to cook. And if you need to get anything, maybe you want to cook pepper soup tomorrow, you will have gotten all the ingredients by today or yesterday, so that by tomorrow you will just cook it. But if you don't have a plan, if you don't have a timetable, it is anything that you see around that you will just be cooking, and you will not be cooking varieties of food because you will be tasking your brain. But tá bá ti ní timetable yẹn lẹ̀, you just look at it. Tá ti wò lọ kí la máa jẹ láàárọ̀ làbá bẹ́ẹ̀ pé kí ló ẹ̀fọ́ rírò àti àmàlà ló wà lórí timetable wa. You look for where to buy vegetables today, not that tomorrow morning ni a ṣẹ̀ṣẹ̀ máa wá ẹ̀fọ́ káàkiri, àdúró la ṣẹ̀ṣẹ̀ máa wá ta la ṣẹ̀ṣẹ̀ máa wá irú káàkiri. You will have gotten all what is needed down. Then minimize added sugar and sweeteners. I have said it earlier. You want to cook noodles for your children, don't use all the seasoning. They are too sweet sometimes, so you can use half or spice it up in your own way, not using that seasoning with it. That brings us to the end of the seminar today. The group will be open now. If you have questions, your comments, send in your questions, send in your comments, and I will attend to them. Thanks for listening. See you in another class. This is Corasant Child Development Initiative, where we build life, we build godly and smart children. My name remains Akinwumi Victoria. Thanks for listening.